In Myanmar, like most of the world, the impacts of COVID-19 have dramatically changed the landscape of physical, social, and working life. However, we have seen that the teenagers living in the poorest areas have felt the impact more than anyone. In just one of these areas where we're working, 98% of the teenagers have been taken and are now in child labour. Internal lockdown has now ceased in Myanmar, allowing some people to return to work. However, many no longer have jobs to go back to and are left without a daily income, leaving their families extremely vulnerable. This desperation has led to a massive rise in trafficking and child abuse, with teenage girls especially at risk, as we have seen cases of domestic abuse and rape dramatically increase. For these local families, selling their daughters to local trafficking brokers often seems to be the only way of survival. We have also seen a rise in cheap synthetic drug use in these areas, leading young men not only into addiction, but also into involvement with gangs and criminal activity. As we move into a new era of life here in Myanmar, we must look forward into how we can best combat the new problems that face our communities. Firstly, we want to expand opportunities, particularly for this group of young people most at risk of exploitation and abuse. Keeping within social distancing guidelines, we have now restarted and increased our high school education, computer and tailoring courses, with the aim of getting 80% of these young people into employment within just 2 months of completing their courses. By training young men and women in diverse income streams, we are making them more resilient and better able to succeed through the hardships of post-COVID life. Secondly, with the lack of jobs, especially within the poorest areas, now more than ever, we want to support and encourage entrepreneurship in order to produce work and income for more families. Through our women's transformation groups, we are teaching women essential business skills, as well as endorsing a culture of saving and investment into their futures. Within these groups, they have the opportunity to receive microloans to start their own small businesses, leading more families to transition towards debt-free and prosperous lives. Thirdly, we want to increase access to nutrition and health support for families and children most at risk of malnutrition. To achieve this, we are now providing around 3,000 hot meals a week through our community centres. Children arrived at our community centres desperately hungry, with many going days without eating. This has only increased since the economic downturn, so we have continued to distribute food supplies to the families most in need to maintain regular eating patterns for children and adults alike. We have now installed 2 new water filtration systems in our communities that produce 2,000 litres of clean drinking water every day. Over the last 6 months, we have focused mainly on preventing the spread of the virus within our communities through producing and distributing health education, masks and soap, as well as ensuring the survival of thousands of families through the distribution of hot meals and raw food supplies. We know that the effects of COVID-19 are far from over and that this will be a long road to recovery. However, by focusing on these 3 main areas of development, we believe we can both sustain and develop families well into the future that lies ahead.